Hey, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Wood, and in this series we're comparing two accounts that I started at the same time on the same day, and I'm playing the same way with one major difference. One account is free to play, the other has a monthly spending budget. It's day 32. Let's check our progress. Hey, thanks for joining me again. The free-to-play account today will have a greenish-blue border around it. The budget account will have no border, as you can see here. And exciting progress. If you didn't see the shard pull yesterday, I would encourage you to go back and watch that. We had some fun and pulled a mythical on the free-to-play account. Lot of fun. Let's go get our daily login reward for day 32. And it will be a rare book. As we go through here and collect all of our stuff, we'll be collecting the last day of our 15th anniversary gift. So that'll be nice to have some more energy and an Immortal Soulstone, which you never know what that could be. Could be a 3-star rare, could be something better. But we take all the chances we can get. It's always a good idea to come in here and check the daily challenges on the Forge Pass before you get started, just to make sure that you can get through and collect all those. I'll show you where I'm at on the rewards. So you can see we've been able to collect so far, and we've been able to keep up with the progress on the Forge Pass for the free-to-play stuff. I've been able to complete all the daily challenges every day. Usually these aren't an issue, even for an early game account. They're usually things that you can do. You just have to be able to plan to do them. But on my main account, or I don't see any problem with being able to do all 50 of these when you're free to play. If you start missing some of these daily challenges each day, you're not going to be able to get to the 50 at the end of the rewards. And it's important to get these when you're free to play. It's the only chance that you have at the 5 and 6 star artifacts. So it's important to get all 50 of these, because if you're not buying the Forge Pass, you don't have any advantage, and you really can't afford to miss too many of those. I think you can miss a couple of days total of that and still be all right. But if you miss too many days, you're not going to be able to get those legendary Forge materials at the end, and those are important. It gives you a chance at least to get some of this instinct gear. You have 15 chances when you're forging legendary, or when you're forging 5 and 6 star artifacts. We'll just go down here just as an example. But so for the instinct set, you can see I can't forge any of the 5 and 6 star instinct right now. I could do 4 and 5 star, but you want to save those and do as many of the 5 and 6 star as you can first. And we'll have to wait until the end of the month, at the end of the Forge Pass season, to be able to do those. But it's important to hold on to these until you have enough that you can forge some of the 5 and 6 star, because if you do these and you get rid of all of your epics, then you won't have any epics left over to do 5 and 6 star when you get the legendary. So you can do the 4 and 5 star, but if you get if you're impatient, but then you won't have anything left, and you'll have the legendaries, but you won't have enough epics to be able to do the 5 and 6 star. And that's what you really want, is the 5 and 6 star. So it's important to hang on to those materials as long as you can. I'll show you the champions that we picked up yesterday. You can see I've been working a little bit on Frolny. I don't have him. And I know this, anybody who looks at this is going to laugh. I had a couple of pieces of Days set that actually sort of fit, his kind of what you're doing with a Frolny. His only skill that would normally require accuracy is Irresistible, and so he doesn't need any accuracy in his kit. Got an HP chest with some speed, crit rate gloves. For right now, we're going to go with crit rate so we can do some damage. And then got crit rate on the Days shield with some speed, and speed and defense on the helm. He needs defense in his second form, and then some crit rate on the weapon. We're definitely not going to leave him here. Eventually, I'm going to want to put him in some savage gear or lethal, or maybe the instinct, something like that to get him to ignore some defense. He hits hard, and ignoring defense helps him hit a lot harder. But he's an HP based damage dealer, so there's no way to increase his damage with there's no increase HP buff. Although there are a few champions that increase team HP, or you can put an HP aura on the team, so that can help a little bit to increase his damage. And then we got Lady Quillen. I put her in. I haven't put her in any gear yet, but yeah. So our Lady Quillen is there, and then we haven't done anything with Bowsmith Flannan yet, or Bowsmith. I guess it'd be like Tree Bow. Yeah, Bowsmith Flannan. Mostly focused on getting Frolny, and what we were able to do with Frolny this morning. I was trying to do some Doom Tower, and there's this secret room 2, in normal. We're still on normal, and my Taragi on my budget account was able to solo this because he's in regen gear and he was able to sustain long enough to be able to do it. My Taragi wasn't able to do it on the free to play because I don't really have good enough regen gear to put on him. But I put Frolny in, and in his base form they couldn't do it. But I put him in his defense form when I restarted the fight, and I just put him in his defense form and I started it on auto. And that thing is so tanky and so hard to kill, even at this early stage, where he's only at level 25. In fact, I'm not even sure I had any levels in him at the time. He was able to sustain and keep Taragi alive long enough and do some damage himself. His damage ramps up with each of his hits, and with how much defense is on him, which he doesn't have much. His stats are really terrible right now. But it was actually cool. They were able to do it, just the two of them, and it took a long time, but they got it done. Does it even say how long? No, it doesn't say how long it took. But yeah, it was cool. They were able to get that done, and I've just been putting him in with some dragon fights or something to get some levels in him. We've been focused on the dragon tournament. It's a turn-based tournament, and so we aren't really well equipped to do well in that tournament, but we were able to pick up the top reward, which was an epic book. Which those are really precious this early game when we're building some epics. So we were able to get that top epic book, and I'm in 7th, for the free to play. So that's a top 10 reward. Let's see, that'd be some gems. That would be nice. So we might be able to keep that spot. I probably will run some more of that just because we need speed gear. I want to take you over to the budget account and show you what progress we've got going on there. Today is the day that we were able to use some budget. So when I started these two accounts, the stipulation was I was going to do basically the same play style on both accounts. I play about the same amount of time, or pretty much exactly the same amount of time on each account every day. So if I can't play it on at certain times or whatever, it's affecting both accounts. I'm not favoring one over the other. And most of the decisions I'm making, where I'm farming, all those kind of things, where the levels I'm pushing, the missions, the challenges, all of those things, I'm trying to do the same things on both accounts so that we can show that the differences have all been RNG and spending. And today was the day. So the first month I spent $50 on the raid card, which the raid card for that one lasts 6 months. It gives you 20% more experience from campaign battles and 20% more silver from campaign battles. And we were able to see a difference in that. But it lasts over 6 months. So it wasn't a dramatic, difference, especially the first month in. And, the first couple weeks are really inefficient as far as campaign goes. But today was the day when the calendar flipped over and we were able to spend some money on the budget account. And I didn't spend $50. So I'll show you what I went in and did. I went in and got the daily gem pack. Okay, so you can see I collected it earlier today as the game reset, for the reset time. I've collected. So now I've collected 300 gems. Over the course of the daily gem pack, you get 2,140 gems. That's basically you're spending $10 for 53 energy refills if you want to look at it. I know we can do other things with gems, and I will. But I kind of like to look at it as in terms of energy, because that's how I know if something is nearing a good deal or not in the game. Right now, our energy is capped at 117. So whenever we do a refill of energy, it's only giving us that 117. Once eventually we're going to get up to 130, But for right now, at the 117, it gives us 6,201 energy, okay, for the amount of gems. If your cap is at 130, that's 6,890 energy. So you can see that's, it's pretty significant. It's over 600 energy. It's 690, almost 689 energy more if your cap is up at the 130 level. So it's not the most efficient thing this early game, actually. But I think if you look at offers and stuff and then calculate out how much are you spending, because that's, how much are you spending, dollar per energy. And so that seems to work out as the most efficient spending in the game. I also went in and did the Forge Pass. So you can see that kind of auto-filled all of these levels. And I was able to pick up all of these lower row rewards. I didn't do the level purchase. You can purchase levels. And I didn't do the level purchase because I think that an inefficient use of money for the Forge Pass. You can collect all of the rewards just by doing the daily and weekly challenges, and eventually we're gonna get up, to this level 5. But it takes time to build that up. But you can see on these rewards here, once you get to level 19. You get that experience plus 10%. The experience plus 10%. You get again at level 28, and again at level 41. So you're getting all these levels anyway. It just you're not able to utilize it for the entire month. And so at the end of the month, and depending on how fast you do the daily and weekly challenges, you might be able to work through these pretty quickly. But if you want to buy them just for the $40 at the beginning of the month, you can. It just gives you all the levels right away so that you can take advantage of the extra experience and the extra silver. But I didn't see the need to do that. I think it's more efficient to just, if you are going to do the Forge Pass, I think that's the most efficient. So now this month, so far we've spent $30. So we've got Daily Gem Pack, Forge Pass. That gives me 20 to play with for the rest of the month. And I'm just going to see, how I feel, if how things are going, if I decide to do a fusion or not, just generally what I'm going to need in the game, but also is it going to be a good use of my budget. There is in the shop, and I kind of wanted to talk about this too, because I think this is one of those things that I guess people could argue about. Okay, so this 15th anniversary pack is $20 for, in my currency where I live, it's $20 for 3 ancients, 1 sacred, 2 voids, and 2 primals. And a lot of people might think this is a good deal because they charge so much for sacreds most of the time. I think a lot of times they'll try and charge you $30 just for 1 sacred. They charge $1.50, $2 for ancients. Voids are usually around $5. It just depends on the deal, or the deal that you're getting. I just don't like to buy shards. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for. I mean, if you're a whale and you don't care how much you're spending, then yeah, I'd say buy shards, because that gives you the most chances at getting the best legendaries, and then being able to +1 your legendaries and everything else. But I really would advise, if you are going to spend on the game, I would advise against buying shards, because those could all be chickens, and then you just spent $20 on a 5-star and 7 3-star chickens. That's very possible. In fact, it's more likely than getting something good that you're going to use. I wouldn't advise spending in this game anyway, but I really don't think it's a good idea to spend money on shards. And so even if it looks like it's a good deal on shards, I like to back off of those and just use what the game gives me as far as shards go, because there's plenty of other uses of your energy in the game. And I think it makes more sense to take advantage of the champions that the game gives you, and doing fusions and things like that. And we're going to have another 7-day login eventually after this Adlin chase is over, and once that moves on, they're going to have another one, and hopefully this time it'll be somebody a little more useful. But yeah, that's just kind of what I have to say about spending. And and everybody has their own opinion about it. That's mine. But just from my own experience, it just feels way too much like gambling. And even the Forge Pass, to be fair, the Forge Pass is gambling too, because a lot of what you're getting with the Forge Pass is materials to forge gear. And there's no guarantee that any of it will be good. You're just giving yourself a lot of opportunities to forge gear pieces. And you can see already what we have now for the Instinct set. See, we could make 10 5 and 6 star gear pieces right now if we wanted to do that. I'm going to wait for Clan versus Clan that's coming up in a few days, and because you get quite a few points for forging gear, and then you make silver for selling the gear pieces that are bad. So that's one of the only places in the whole game where you actually come out silver positive on an activity that you're doing in the game, because you don't spend any energy on it. I make that distinction because in Spider, Spider's the best place to farm for silver in the game, but you have to spend energy for it. It doesn't come for free. In the Forge, you're investing a little bit of silver, but you get more out of it as you sell the gear pieces that you're not going to use. So to me, it's don't tell them, because they'll probably try and change it, but it's the only place in the game where you actually come out silver positive. You're not spending any energy. You're not spending. The Forge is a great part of the game, and I'm glad they changed it. When I started playing the game, this Forge was a campfire. There was nothing to be done there. We didn't have perception set. We didn't have any of the great sets that you can forge, and so it's really nice that we have that available to us now. We're fast now. I was able to get some more speed pieces and get Haikatun a little bit faster. So she now is at 221 speed on the budget account. And I was able to actually get her faster on the free to play also. So that's the main thing that we've had going, and we've been just farming a lot of dragon just to get more speed pieces. Then I'm going to move into building champions again. The thing with Allure, I had a question about Allure. Somebody else that watched the video, and thank you for your comment, they mentioned that they also pulled an Allure and they were excited about it and wanted to see how I had her built. And I haven't gotten very far with her yet, but the main thing with Allure, she has to do critical hits, she has to be fast, and she has to have accuracy. And when you're very early game like this, those three things are kind of difficult to achieve. Just with the initial gear that I have on her right now, you can see behind me here. I'll move myself a little, so you can see we've got her at 167 speed, which is not fast, 67% crit rate, and then 100 accuracy right now. The speed has to go way up. We want her probably faster than our speed booster, but for right now our speed booster has to be the fastest on our account. But if you can get your Allure, ideally if you can get your Allure really close to 300 speed, that's kind of ideal. Obviously early game that's not going to happen with us especially, but as fast as we can get her. When we're in Fire Knight, she has to kind of lap the Fire Knight to be able to be effective at keeping his turn meter down. And so that's kind of the idea is that you have to be, twice as fast as him to be able to keep taking enough turns so that 75% turn meter reduction that she does. And then if she has a resist, a random 3% resist or something like that happen, so that she's still fast enough that she's keeping that turn meter down. And so with speed auras and speed boosters and everything like that, you can usually achieve that with an Allure, and she can keep his turn meter down by herself. So but you have to be able to keep taking turns. So speed on her is really important, but she has to have 100% crit rate also. And you can see I've got her with some crit rate gloves, and we don't have them leveled all the way up. Yeah, see, they go up to 40%. So you get an extra 14% crit rate. And we have her right now at 67. So that's going to get her, just over 80% crit rate. It's not good yet. So we're still going to work on it. We still have a lot of re-gearing for her to do. I didn't feel bad about just putting some gear on her initially while we were throwing things together. But yeah, main thing with the lure, 100% crit rate, fast. And then you have to have enough accuracy to affect whichever boss you're doing. If you're ever confused about how much accuracy you need, please go to hellhades.com and search the bosses, and you can look at any boss at any level. You can look at any wave of Doom Tower or Dungeon waves or Potion Keep waves, any of the stats, and you can see how much accuracy you're going to need to overcome their resistance. And it just keeps going up. The further up you go, the more it goes up. And they used to say that, I think it was 10 accuracy per level. So if you were at level 10, you'd want 100 accuracy. If you're at level 20, you'd want 200 accuracy. That's kind of what the rule of thumb used to be for accuracy on bosses. And I don't know if that's exactly true, but that was sort of the guideline that we used to use. Now as they ramp up and we have hard dungeons and everything like that, it has changed a little bit. So it's best to just go to hellhades.com. He's got all the information there about all of the resistance, and then he tells you how much accuracy you need to overcome that resistance, and how much resistance you need to have to overcome their accuracy also. So if you are building resistance to resist some of the effects that the bosses can put on you, or that the waves could put on you or whatever, then you at least know what stat levels you have to get. And like I said, they're very difficult to achieve this early game. But we'll do our best, and we'll get things moving. And this will really help us, especially on the budget account now, for Fire Night. For the free-to-play, I'm going to try and build an Armiger soon, so that'll help us to get some progress in Fire Night. There's also a champion called Elfguard that's an uncommon. She does some turn meter reduction, but she doesn't do it on her A1. She has an A2 skill that's on a 2-turn cooldown though, so she can cycle it around pretty quickly, but she decreases the enemy's turn meter by 50%, and that's a really good turn meter reduction. She just has a little decreased attack. So if you use a combination of Elfguard and Armiger, you can usually pretty much keep the turn meter of the Fire Knight down. So once you get to the point where you're doing Fire Knight, at a higher level, usually you can get through the first 10 levels or so without a lot of turn meter reduction, because he doesn't hit that hard. But when he starts hitting hard, it's difficult to withstand some of those hits, and you need to keep his turn meter reduced so that he doesn't take turns, and then he heals up on the shield. So if you have heal reduction and he keeps taking turns, then that works out okay as well. But if you don't have heal reduction and he's starting to hit you hard, you just need turn meter reduction for the Fire Knight. The problem with Frolny, just like with a lot of the dwarves, in fact, I think it's all the dwarves, he's slow. He makes runs pretty slow. He's they run up they run up to the boss, and then they run back, and they have short little legs, and so they don't go really very fast. And so that's kind of, when you're trying to build speed runs in dungeons and things, it's kind of hard to use the dwarves sometimes, but sometimes they're so good that you can't ignore them. So he's not one built for dungeon runs, but like Newt, for example. Newt is so good for so many different dungeons and things, but he can slow things down just because of his running up to the boss and then running back slowly. Yeah, I hadn't progressed. I just totally, last weekend I got stuck on the missions, and I totally forgot last weekend to do Void. So we're doing the Void Potion Keep just to get it over with today and get that challenge out of the way. Another thing I failed to mention yesterday, and it's for some reason I had forgotten about this. I don't know why, because I had already done the Lady Mikage fusion, but I acted, in yesterday's video where we did shard pulls, I was pretty disappointed that we got a Lady Quillen on both the free-to-play and the budget account. There is some symmetry to it that I kind of appreciate, but also she's not the strongest. I didn't remember that Lady Quillen was part of the Lady Mikage fusion. So so we do have one of the epics that'll fuse that can be used for the Tatsu. So we will build our Lady Quillen up to level 50. We'll fully ascend up to level 50, her, and she can help us with Bannerlord Faction Wars until we're ready to fuse Tatsu, and then hopefully we'll be able to get that would be so nice to be able to fuse Lady Mikage within this first year of doing both of these accounts. I think that would be really cool. Also on Clan Boss, I did a key in Brutal just to see where I was, and we got to 5.58 million, and the top chest is 21.7 million. So I think if I make a few little tweaks, a 4 key is pretty achievable on Brutal Clan Boss. And so I think we might start doing that, just because the rewards for the top chest in Brutal, you get shards more often, the drops are a little bit better, the potions are better, the gems are better, the gear especially, you're getting all 5-star, and the lowest is rare gear. And so I think starting, after the reset of the Clan Boss, I think that we'll start putting 4 keys into Brutal. I haven't checked with the free-to-play to see where I'm at on that yet, but I think that would make the most sense is to move up and stop collecting chests that give us gear that we're not going to use. We've been getting a lot of common and uncommon gear and 4-star and stuff. So I think that's going to make the most sense, since I believe we have the damage to do it, to be able to 4 key the Brutal right now. Obviously we're going to make we're going to make some improvements soon, and so that the Brutal won't be too much of a problem for very much longer, especially if we can get our Taragi stats up a little higher. But also we have a artifact enhancement coming up in a few hours, and so that'll help us to make some progress too, and to get some rewards for it. I did some re-gearing and stuff, trying to take advantage of the 100% gear removal reduction in cost, and so that's been nice too. But then I always end up enhancing some of the accessories and artifacts, just because I'm trying to make improvements. So I'm trying to hold off as long as I can until the artifact enhancement shows up. That's pretty much all I had for today. I think we're just going to keep working on Dragon while we have the 3x speed going. The speed is so important. It's the number one stat. If you can't take a turn, you can't do anything in this game. So you have to be able to take a turn, and you need speed. And I still haven't pulled any champions where speed doesn't benefit them. So it's the main stat. You can go a little lower on some of the other stats every once in a while, but speed is one that's kind of non-negotiable. If you're not fast enough to do anything, the skills really aren't important anyway. So I'm gonna keep working on speed until this dragon event is over, and slip a couple of champions into the dragon runs. Now I can do that. We're strong enough. We can slip a champion in once in a while that needs some training levels. And so we'll be doing a little bit of training while we're doing some dragon farming, and then if we get a few lifesteal pieces in addition to that, then I won't be mad at that either. Plus we're just gaining silver also, but pretty soon dungeon farming is going to become kind of irrelevant. But for right now we still need some speed gear, so we're going to keep working on that. I'll keep working on elevating Frolny and Allure on the budget account. And thank you for watching. I'm very grateful to you for watching this video and for watching any of the other videos that I've put out so far. I'm still learning a lot, and I have a long way to go, but it's been a lot of fun. This has been an interesting journey for me, and I think it's going to be valuable. An A/B comparison between a free-to-play account and a budget account under the same conditions with the same timing and everything. I think it's going to be valuable for some people to be able to make some decisions, and it's kind of fun too. It's kind of a fun experiment to look at and see and just see how things go, and see the effect of some good RNG can have that makes up for some spending. in the game. So, so yeah, with getting a mythical on the free-to-play, I think that'll help, but I'm not sure that it's going to overcome spending. But we'll see. We'll find out, and we'll see over the next few weeks how things shake out. But I'm committed to a year, so that'll give us a really good idea. You know, as that gap starts to widen, I think it's going to become clear kind of what the difference is. But then everybody has to decide for themselves: is it really worth the amount of money you have to spend to get that gap? Is it, you know, is it valuable enough? I'm not dead set on an opinion yet about it. I'm really not sure, and so this is valuable for me also. But it, you know, for me it's just fun. I'm just enjoying, you know, the science experiment of it. Thank you for watching. If you wouldn't mind giving me, you know, a subscribe or a like, maybe if you want to just be really nice, or tap the notification bell, just so that you know when I come out with a new video in the series. I think it's going to be interesting as we go throughout the year, and I hope it's a little bit entertaining for you as well. I've been Wood, and I appreciate you.